Peace fam, it's your girl Kia, aka The Concrete Rose, and I'm back with another video. So as you guys can tell by the title, today I'm going to be going over all of the books that I read in the month of August. I thought that this would be a cool video. I told y'all I was going to try to do more book reviews because I did get a good response on my last book recommendation video. I'll actually have that link down below if you guys want to, check that out. But anyway, so this is the stack of books that I read for the month of August. And I'm going to be going over all of these with you guys. And, my hopes and my intentions is that, you guys are able to find at least one book out of this stack to, read, get into, and yeah. So, disclaimer, y'all, I got some spicy books in here. Okay, I am a grown woman, so I do have some spicy books in here that are really centered around BDSM. So if you're into that, stick around. If you're not into that, this might not be the video for you, but let's get into it. So first book I read in the month of August is called 20,000 Secrets of Tea, the most effective ways to benefit from nature's healing herbs. Screenshot. And it is by Victoria Zack. This is a great resource. This is why I say, I kind of read 3.5, y'all, because I'm not gonna lie, I did not finish all of this book because to me it's more like a resource. I got pretty much halfway. Yeah, I got pretty much halfway through it. I stopped on page 92. So this is a really great resource. It literally tells you about all the herbs, right? So I'm just gonna pick a random one. So it has flax here, right? And I think it's called the Materia Medica or something of the herb. So it gives you the herb name, what is probably commonly known by. It gives you the actual scientific name of the herb. It tells you what it's all about, how you can use it. It tells you the beneficent part, so what part of the herb to actually use. Of course, what it's for, its history. Some of these herbs have I want to say mythological, but I'm not sure if I'm using that right. But it has stories and myths, behind them. So it even breaks that down for you. Some herbs have so this one, this is, what herb is this? This is milk thistle, right? So at the end, yes, it lists the beneficent parts, but it also tells you how it could turn into a poisonous herb as well, if you overuse something, so I thought that this was just a really great resource. I kind of put it down because it was just a lot of information. It was very overwhelming for me to just read straight through, but this is a really great herb. I found myself picking it up. So yeah, y'all, definitely check this book out. I definitely recommend it. Again, here's it again, so that way you can screenshot this. So next book I have, and I am missing the dust cover. Honestly, y'all, I think I probably threw it away because fun fact about me, your girl is a paperback girly, okay? I really don't get hardcovers like that because I hate the dust cover. I hate when you're trying to read it and the shit is slipping off, that shit irritates me. But yeah, so this book is called Submit, and it is by the author, backwards. It is by the author Sonnet. Y'all, so this is a spicy book, honey. On a level of spiciness. Baby, this was a 10, this was an 11. This was wow. This was my gateway book into the spiciness or whatever. Crazy. So this book is by an anonymous author. She goes by Sonnet, and this book is basically her journal entries and her stories of her finding herself within the BDSM community, So I thought that this was a great book up until, and she was smart about this. My girl Sonnet, she was smart about this because she knew what the fuck she was doing, you know? At the very end, like I'm talking about last few pages, bitch, it's some race play in there. It's some race play in there. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, Sonnet. I don't know how I feel about this. Y'all just have to read this to like truly understand. But I was like, what the fuck? Okay, so I docked my girl. Okay, I docked my rating. Oh, rating for this, I say 5-star. I mean, shit, like it literally lists all the herbs, girl, what you can use it for, give you the history. Shit, I feel like this is good, you know, if you're into like herbalism and stuff, baby, this is a good start. Like I said, my mentor recommended me this, so 5-star. This, babes, I'm gonna have to give this a 3.5 only because I was wrapped up into it, bitch. I was in it until those last few pages, and I said, you lost me. You lost me. I done came this far, so I'm gonna finish it out, but you lost me. You know, at that point, I was yelling, stand up. Stand up. You know? But I thought that this book was good. I like, my whole point for reading is to expand my mind, you know? So I'm always willing to read different perspectives, you know, like, of course, you know, researching different things and being interested in certain things. Like, okay, I'm gonna read this, you know, I wanna see what this is about. There were parts where I was like, oh wow, this is like really taking it there, you know, but it taught me to have respect and like a different perspective on the BDSM community, what BDSM is. It is very not like what you think. Like, there's a lot of respect in it in a way. There is a lot of consent, right? Like, their whole thing is consent, you know, like you have to be a consenting adult to do this, right? So, you know, I definitely thought that this was a book that definitely shifted my perspective. It was very funny. It was very spicy. Okay. Yeah, this was a book that I was like, babe, where you at, babe? But definitely a good book. Like I said, just those last few pages, baby, lost me. And I had to lower the rating for that. But much respect to my girl Sonnet. I respect the art of the book. And yeah, that was a good book. So next book I have, y'all, is called Conjure Women. Yes, by Afia Adakora. Okay, honey, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. Y'all, this book was centered all around hoodoo, honey. All around hoodoo. It was beautiful. So you have the two perspectives of two generations of hoodoo women, right? You have the mother and then you have the daughter. You know, you have the mother who was a conjure woman during slavery, right? Like, she was the master's right-hand woman, you know, left-hand woman, if you want to put it that way. But yeah, you know, and then the conjure woman has a daughter, so then you get the perspective of, you know, a conjure woman outside of slavery times, right? You get the perspective of how the town perceives her, you know, and how the town perceives the mother as well. You also get the perspective of a little white girl, you know, that was the daughter's friend, right? Friend. I don't really know if you would call it that. It was like a weird relationship, honestly. But this book, I was like turning the pages, baby, eating this shit up, eating it up. I needed to know what happened. I kept telling myself, okay, I'm gonna put it down. Kept reading. This book was so freaking good. Of course, you have some conjure in here. You have some spookiness in here, right? You have a baby that's born with a veil, aka they're a coil baby, right? So that's when a baby is born with the still within the sac, right? Like they're literally born that way. They come out their mama's stuff like that. So yeah, and then the coil was black, like the veil was black. So of course, like when he was born, it was like, oh, this is like a demon child, you know? So we follow his story, and it's just like, y'all, I was eating this up. This really was not a spicy book. It was a couple spicy scenes in here, but really the overall book like was deep as fuck, right? We explore topics on hoodoo, conjure, race, slavery. This is during Civil War times, right? So you get the perspective of the mom and the dad, right, who is like trying to stay together even in the midst of this of these war times, right? We explore topics of heartbreak and trauma and grief and motherhood, even daughterhood, right? And what it's like growing up and your mom being a conjure woman, right? And like how that's something that you just inherit, not necessarily even something that you want. It doesn't really matter if you want it, right? Like it's just in the family. And if you want to be safe in this world, in this racist ass world, sometimes you got to do some shit that you don't want to do, you know? It does have topics of rape in there, right? Sexual abuse, sexual assault. So this is a very, very, very heavy book, y'all. Very, very heavy book. But it was so good. It was so good. And I ate it up, and it was so interesting. All of the characters were interesting. All of the characters, I was just like, wow, you know, like I wanted to know their stories, right? We have a pastor in here. I'm not even about to give it away. I'm not about to give it away, but oh, this book was so good. Honestly, this was my favorite book that I read out of the whole month of August. If I'm really being honest, I'm gonna just give that away. Last book I have is Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. This book, y'all, was a spicy book. Did I give my rating on this? I said 5. It evoked emotion and everything, girl. Literally, I ended up crying when I finished it, like actual tears falling down my eyes. So definitely 5-star if it can you know, get me to cry. Lights Out, spicy, BDSM, crazy, morally gray characters, trauma. I don't think I would say gory, but there are parts in there where it's just like, you know. So the main character is an ER nurse, right? So we do get topics of like gunshot wounds and death and stuff like that. Death is a theme in here, baby. Death is a theme in here. I'm not about to give the plot away, but y'all, this book was so good. The couple in here, I mean, Josh was really that guy. Like, I just really have to say that, babe. Josh was really that guy. Oh, if I could say like who was my favorite character in here, I'm gonna say Miss Maybelle. Because my girl was really doing what she had to do in order to survive, you know. And as a mother, I have respect for that, and I have understanding for that, you feel me? So Miss Maybelle, and like Sonnet was really like the only character in this one. Again, that race play, I wasn't I really want to square up on that. But yeah, so Josh, baby, okay, Josh, let me tell you that man was crazy. He's a little off, But you know what? It was his upbringing. And he came from a very traumatic upbringing. His father, and I don't think this is a spoiler because it's said like early on in the book. His father was a serial killer. Yeah, his father was a serial killer. And Allie, she watched her mom die in a car accident. So, you know, you have two traumatized as people coming together, and they're into like BDSM, right? Josh is a hacker, cybersecurity guy. Like I said, my girl Allie, she's an ER nurse. So they're into like the wild side of life, honey. The wild side of life. And you just get to see their relationship progress throughout this book. Now, I do know that there is another book called Caught Up, I think. I have no idea if that connects to this book or if this book was a standalone. I mean, I feel like the book ended fine. Like, I feel like I got what I needed out of it. So I don't know. I still have to look more into Caught Up and see if that connects or if Caught Up is just a standalone. But y'all, this book was nice. This book, I ate it up. This was another book that I just like kept turning the pages. It does get a little, I think it gets a little heavy. Like, same thing with the Submit book. It did get a little heavy. It was moments where I had to ground and come back to it. But overall, I feel like this was a really, really good book. My rating, I say a 4. Like, it was a good book. I ate it up. It kept me interested the whole way through. I do feel like the plot kind of got messy once it took that twist. It was just like, okay, girl. And then you was still trying to throw in the spicy scenes from beginning to end. Like, sometimes some parts was just like a little messy. Like, it was just like, okay, like you really didn't have to add that. But it was a good book overall. It kept me turning the pages. It wasn't bad at all. And yeah, I loved it. So yeah, y'all, like that was my reading month for the month of August. And this is my stack of books that I have. Again, y'all can screenshot these. I recommend all of these, even the Submit book. I recommend this because it was nice to see the progression within her journey. Like, this book literally takes you from like her trying to explore it to like all the way up to her like fully just embracing it. You feel me? So yeah, I thought that this was a nice book. Again, y'all, I just really have to put that warning out there. If you are a person of color like I am, yeah, that ending, I was like, baby, you really could have kept this. Like, you really could have kept this. No wonder she's anonymous, okay? But regardless, much respect to all of these authors. I definitely recommend all of these books. And yeah, that was my reading month for the month of August, you guys. And let me know if you guys, you know, like this type of content, this type of video. And I can just, you know, update y'all on like the type of books that I read. This was definitely a different month for me. You know, it helped me get out of my box, right? It helped me explore different perspectives, and yeah, I fucked with it. All right, so I will see y'all in my next video.